morning, everyone, or afternoon, or night, or evening, wherever you are, but welcome to a scenario where civilization starts over. Again. Basically, nothing's here, and, well, nothing's here. We see civilization start up again around this area in Königsberg, Königsberg, or Kaliningrad. I'm calling it Königsberg for this. Over time, they eventually managed to start up civilization. And eventually, they form a major city. They form a major city, which automatically becomes the capital of Kaliningrad. And yeah, I'm not even gonna edit this because why do I need to? There's really no reason to. They discover Gdansk, and they then push on east to the to discover most of the Pomeranian area. Some people, they get lost, and eventually a blue team forms, this being Pomerania. They eventually reconnect up with Königsberg, and, well, they discover that they are the same country, and they discover that they are the same people. However, they don't really care that they're two different countries. They still have really good relations with each other, but like they don't see any reason to unify. Meanwhile, over here in Taiwan or Chinese Taipei, doesn't really matter what you call it because there's nothing here anyways. I'm just gonna call it Taipei. So they arrive in the north and in Taipei. So yeah, they quickly discover the entire island. And then they crap, I forgot to switch my tool again. And then they form like and then they unify the island. Create a major city in Taipei and make it their capital. Oh, that reminds me, I should probably add at least one major city to Pomerania. Boom. Boom. But these people here, they don't really feel connection to Pomerania, but they don't really feel connection to Königsberg either. So they build a major city, and well, they break off. And now we have Gdansk. And the capital of Gdansk is Gdansk. Okay, since there aren't really well-defined boundaries, stuff like this would happen. A trade occurs where Gdansk takes areas that identify more as Gdanskian than Pomeranian. This border change is immediately accepted. However, the border isn't really well defined, so stuff like this would happen. Pomerania sets up a military camp in what they think is Pomeranian land. Same with Gdansk. They set up camp. And turns out neither are in are in the correct country. So they just set up borders to reach them. However, oh no, some people in Gdansk identify as Pomeranians, so yeah. And some people in Pomerania identify as Gdanskian. So yeah. Border gore. They realize what they have done and decide, fuck it, yeah, no more. No more of those exclaves. Yeah, none of those exclaves. We don't want exclaves here. And both sides are like, yeah, that's fair, and they work up a deal. This area is traded for this area. And both sides are happy now. But, but Pomerania wants more. They go down south. And they even send an expedition out once they reach Denmark. Their goal is to see what is out there. So they try to, like, hug the coast. But eventually get lost. And go up north. They try to turn around. Oh, they find these islands. They leave some expeditions there to report back to Pomerania of something they found. They try to turn back around, but it turns out the ship turns back around extremely slowly. And so before they've even gone the other way, they suddenly go through the Strait of Gibraltar and are now in the Mediterranean. They don't know they don't know where they are. Oh, they discover Malta too. But eventually they go through the Suez Canal, which somehow still exists. And go around this area, hugging the coast again. Ooh, that's where the first WICSO started. And then eventually they find a good place to settle, which is here in Mesopotamia. I should probably color in the coastlines, some of the coastlines too. Because they're probably aware of these islands and this island too. Luckily, they brought a compass just in case they got lost. They tested it here, it pointed north. Earth. And well, yeah, Pomerania's kind of cooked. These expeditions are kind of cooked if they can't find their way back home. So they try to find their way back home. as I said, this is WICSO Uncut, so, yeah. They realize they still have their compasses. And, well, they start the trek north, going through Turkey, and eventually making a pit stop here in the Strait of Bosphorus. They go here, in roughly the northern direction, and take another rest here in Crimea. They then continue north, but at the same time, Königsberg sends an expedition east, and they meet up. And, well, the Pomeranians go east to try and find... The Pomeranians go west to find home and find themselves back at home. Finally. The Pomeranians, quickly, take a lot of the land they just discovered. There's, no one here to colonize, so they just take the land, because, once again, nothing here. And they take this island, too. Yeah, they're really taking a lot of random islands and a lot of random lands. They even found a colony here. Or colony? There's nothing to colonize, so settlement, I guess. They settle this island, these islands, and this area too. They take the Suez Canal because that'll probably be important later. And this area because, again, it'll probably be important. They expand this southern settlement to almost all of Somalia. And they even take this area just in case they might need it. They even take Qatar and Bahrain. They obviously create a settlement here. And the rest stops, some people are still there, so they create settlements there. And in Crimea. So as you can see, the Pomeranians are like a massive empire now. Anyways. The Pomeranians aren't done yet. They quickly make some moves and eventually reach the shores of Norway, Sweden and stuff. That is not Norway. But that is Sweden. Anyways, they reach the coast of Norway. And I should probably put major cities now. Like where they are. And good. Okay, good. Okay, they expand some more. However, if you were hoping that all these areas would somehow stay a part of Pomerania, you'd be wrong. At this stage of history, we're very early, so it's basically impossible for these areas to get in contact with Pomeranians unless something really, bad happened. Unless they just unless they crossed somehow, which is unlikely because of the Alps, which are here. So yeah, that's why we'll see several countries break away from the Pomeranian Empire. We see an orange team form, a brown team, a gold team, which includes these islands and Syracuse, an actually blue team, which includes these areas. Actually, let's make it more of a dark blue so that it's less vibrant, because my eyes kind of hurt from that. A dark cyan? No. A dark cyan team? A dark purple team? A magenta team? Okay, yeah, no, that is painful on my eyes. That's better. A light cyan team. A dark red team. And a light red. No, wait, that's already a thing. And a light blue team. Okay, now I have a lot of countries. Now to give all these random people capitals. Oh yeah, the Pomeranians still hold on to these islands somehow. For the ones with only one major city, it should be really obvious. Honestly, I think I should split up this country more, so... Science team it is. Okay, this is a bit more important, so... Oh yeah, they would probably choose Carthage as their capital here, and... there, and... boom, boom, and here. They'd probably quickly discover, like, at least the coast of the Mediterranean. And, well, they probably find Greece eventually. And, well... you never know. Because, well, this is an alternate history scenario. Anyways, the Pomeranians are obviously pissed about all this. So they quickly go south and, they meet up with the exploration group. And, let's just say that, you know, this is a bit... this area right here is basically where racism was invented in this world. Like here, right there, that's where racism was invented. In response to all this, all these guys form an alliance. These four form an alliance, and, well, these guys are pretty detached from these, so they form their own alliance. An alliance between Turkey and Crimea. Oh, and these guys. And an alliance between these guys. These three also feel a bit threatened and formed an alliance. And Taiwan has nothing to do with this because Taiwan's, like, they're all the way over here. when everything else over here is happening, Taiwan's just lonely. But they don't have to be. As another civilization forms up. Well, civilization, really, there's not much. It's just more of a bunch of tribes that, like, are under one flag, but are just semi-independent. So they don't have a capital or really any major cities. It's just a bunch of nomads. But they quickly find Taiwan, and immediately these two are best friends. But they keep going south and find the Philippines. And what do you know? Well, there's another civilization here. But again, no cities yet. But these three, these three are nowhere near these guys. But now it's time. These guys quickly sail across, like they walk across India to continue east because they don't think this is the easternmost point of the world. They think the easternmost point is like somewhere here. So they continue until they reach this area where they settle down. They think they found the easternmost point in the world, but then they look at their compass and say, "Hey, wait a minute. If north is this way, then east is this way. This isn't the easternmost point of the world." So they go. These two groups of people still have no idea about each other yet. Until, like, there's a camp here. Until, like, they reach this point and hear and smell, like, smoke from the camp just on the outskirts. And then they start to see it. And finally, they run into each other. And just like that, the two sides of the world have just been connected. This is a historic moment in the history of this world. Because not only is everyone over here interconnected, but they're also now connected to here. Anyways, they quickly, like, surround this area. And eventually, this area is completely discovered. Same with the Black Sea. I think it's at this point that any body of water that they touch would be quickly discovered. All of Ukraine is discovered, and eventually they raced and captured the British Isles. And yeah, this area, it's gone. But now it's time for a new country to form. around this area. Around this area is Silesia. And well, Silesia. Yes, I'm using Silesia and Silesia interchangeably, and Silesia forms. Now it's time for the partition of Poland. I should probably turn off alliances because they're not important. Well, the borders are drawn up and, well, the Polish area is partitioned. However, all three of these countries, well, they claim some of the some land that the other countries claim. Now here's a three-way dispute between Danzig, between Gdansk, Silesia, and Königsberg. Let's first. Well, yeah, yeah, this border dispute was solved simply. How it was solved by like this. However, this one, like I say, it's not as easy. Let's say Silesia and Gdansk might go to war over this. Well, Pomerania didn't really want anything to do with this, so Pomerania will not really defend Gdansk over this because, well, it doesn't really affect them, does it? Did I mention this was uncut? Okay, we're still recording. Yep. Did I mention this was uncut? Yeah, this is uncut. No, this too. And well, yeah, it'll be hard to draw this dispute because it's 3 countries, not 1. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I'm just drawing out the yeah, this is gonna be a hard border dispute to draw. So yeah, this border dispute is kind of chaotic, don't you think? And well, I think that's gonna end it off for today's episode. Yeah, a lot of random bullshit happened. Anyways, this was an eventful episode. Bye.